Okay. Okay, there we go. I don't know what's going on here. It's kind of wonky today. Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to today's meetup, our second virtual meetup. And I'm super excited about it because we had a good turnout last time. And I believe we're going to have a good turnout this time, even if it's just us, because we got a lot to talk about. So, uh, all right, get this going here. All right. So we have a couple of new people. Some people I know, some people um, I'm meeting for the first time, like Naya, who's from Nebraska, and then Kira, right?
Yeah, you got
Kira?
it.
Oh, did I? Girl, I'm so
Great
proud of
job.
myself.
I'm terrible with names, so you're good.
And so tell me where you're from. Tell everyone where you're from.
Sure. So I'm from the New York, Connecticut area, but actually a couple days ago, I just moved to Las Vegas. So I am kind of figuring out my new setup here at my desk. So I'm a little disorganized.
I get it. I get it. And so, of course, like I said, we have Gina. Gina's going to introduce herself in just a moment. Um, and then we have Susie and Kimberly, and hopefully we can get um, who was it we were trying to get? Oh, she left. Let me see if I can. I think she hit the right. I don't think she meant to hit that button. So, uh, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So, welcome everybody. I'm super excited that everyone is here. Um, I'm gonna, go ahead and get started as people are kind of, coming in and perhaps handling, whatever technical uh, difficulties we may have. I'm having a few difficulties myself, but nevertheless, we're going to keep things moving. So, if this is your first time, by way of introduction, I'll go ahead and introduce myself, and then I want Gina to introduce herself because she's here co-facilitating this event with me. So my name is Aldrima Harper. I'm actually okay, so there's Catherine. There we go. All right. I think we got everybody. There we go. Hey, Catherine, how are you? And so, welcome. So, welcome everyone. So, again, so my name is Aldrima Harper, and I'm a business and podcast launch strategist. Okay. And I'm also a virtual home office organizer where I help people to get their offices organized. I don't do homes anymore. I used to, but I do virtual organizing and helping people to get their home offices organized. So, and I'm also the host of the Organizedpreneur podcast. Now, I primarily work with female entrepreneurs who are looking to launch a podcast, start an organizing business or VA service based business, or they're looking to get organized so that they can improve their productivity. So, Gina is here with me today because she's helping to co-facilitate this meeting with me. And so we decided, even what last year, I believe it was, we were going to do an event like this based on business and podcasts. That's like my favorite topic to talk about. And I know it's Gina's favorite topic to talk about as well. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let Gina also introduce herself, and then we will kind of, I'll let Catherine and Kimberly and who else have not introduced themselves yet, we'll do that, and then we'll come back to the main agenda. Does that make sense? All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gina, and I'm super excited that you all are here today because Aldrima and I actually met on a networking event. And so powerful things can happen on networking events. And so I'm the co-founder of Wave Enterprise Co. We are a boutique podcast and social media management studio for female-owned wellness brands. And we're also location independent. So right now we're in Tunisia, but next week we'll be moving to Malta. So getting ready to transition as well. And yeah, we're really excited to be here and help support you guys in answering any questions you have about podcasting, and really also to just network with each other in fellowship and see how we can all just support each other. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want so Susie, introduce yourself. Kimberly, introduce yourself. Catherine, introduce yourself.
I'm Susie McKinster. I'm from Iowa, and I've done some of your, I did your decluttering. I got my
Yes.
office all cleaned up, and I need to get back at it again. Somehow it doesn't stay that way. But I'm with Five Rings Financial, and I've been toying with a podcast and don't know quite where to start, or if I just need some direction and know a little bit more about it before I decide that I want to do something.
Gotcha. Excited that you're here. Thank you, Susie. All right, Kimberly.
So I am Kimberly Evans. I am the CEO and founder of Purpose Consulting. We are a Five Rings financial agency. I run a full service financial steward kind of service, like a concierge for our clients. I'm really big in financial education. I'm really big in teaching people about what I know so that they can know it and use it for their benefit. And I am the co-founder and co-host, that's what I'm trying to look for, of the Wealth Table podcast, which actually, that's how Catherine and I actually got here. But our podcast really kind of started as a, hey, let's get used to Facebook Live kind of thing. And then it's grown to where it is now. And now we're looking to grow it, monetize it, and really put it out there because the substance and the conversations we have are so great. We offer two different perspectives from it. And we just think that there's some value add at the Wealth Table. And unfortunately, I'm probably stealing most of what Catherine would want to say, but part of what the Wealth Table is all about is everybody has a seat at our table. So we wanted to be an inclusive podcast where everybody had an opportunity to share their experiences, ask questions. We just start the dialogue, but we really want people to engage and participate with us. So I am Kimberly Y. Evans.
All right, Catherine.
We can barely hear you, beautiful.
Hold on.
I can't
can you
hear
hear
it all.
Can
Yes.
you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Yes. Hi. I've got a very varied background, but right now I'm a women's wealth coach, and I am involved in Five Rings, but more on the coaching side. Kimberly and I have been doing the Wealth Table now for 3 years, and it's evolved as we've evolved. So we're ready for that next big step. My big vision is to help women find their inner wealth. I'm a meditation and mindfulness teacher. I'm a best-selling author, used to be an attorney. So that's always kind of in the background. And it's empowering women to see their potential and actually live into their potential. That's my mission and purpose. And would love to hear new ideas, find new ways to monetize the Wealth Table, because its message is for everyone. Everyone truly does have a seat at the table. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Catherine. All right. Well, I was going to say Anya, but looks like she has left. Now, Naya, you did introduce yourself to me. Did I forget to allow you to introduce yourself to everyone else, or what?
Hi, ladies. My name is Naya. I am a tad under the weather. Please forgive me. I am from Nebraska. I think she did cover that. I recently just founded an LLC under Finance Babe. It's a financial services digital media platform. And I'm looking to market my services via media channels, but at its core, it's a financial services, educational based business.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. All right, Kyrie, go ahead.
Hi. So my name is Kira. I'm
Here, and then I got it
You're good.
wrong.
You're fine. You're fine. It's not written. I should have renamed myself here. So I am shockingly, as you can see, the lead host of DNA Today. So I also produce it, and we've been doing it 11 years now. So it's been a ride. And I also do some consulting for other podcasts. So I have other clients that I kind of just step in where needed. So sometimes I host, sometimes I produce, sometimes it's more the marketing side or just launch side, mostly in the healthcare space. But sometimes I branch out and do other things. But yeah, so kind of just, an entrepreneur like many of you, and just kind of here to learn and connect with you guys.
Awesome. All right. Okay. Well, thank you all again for joining me today, and thank you all for spending some time with us today, because like I said, business and podcasting is definitely, two of my favorite topics, as well as organizing. And so one of the things that, just to kind of bring you everyone up to speed, last month when we met, I didn't really have a name for the group. And so, but since then, I actually kind of landed on the name of Business and Podcasting Society, or Business and Podcast Society for Female Entrepreneurs. Now, that may even change. I don't know. But right now, that's kind of, where I've landed. And so we also have a community with the same name. And if you're not a part of that, I would love to have you a part of that. The community, there is a free community. It's on Facebook. I know some people don't even deal with Facebook, but it was kind of the best place to put it, for now. And so we'll be doing some other things. We'll be kind of, evolving. But one of the reasons that I wanted to do this was because I wanted there to be some type of a gathering and meetup for those that are interested. First of all, those that have a business, that's an entrepreneur, whether they've just started their business or, they are, veterans like some of you, have been in the entrepreneurial space for quite some time, but you're just kind of looking for ways to, some of you monetize. Maybe you already have a podcast and you're just like, okay, I'm kind of stuck, I'm trying to get clients, through that and things like that. And you may even have, questions around, what, I don't even know how to start a podcast. I think that was kind of like when, what Susie was saying, I don't even know how to start a podcast. So you are definitely in the right place. Hi, Mel. Thank you for joining. And so that's why we're here, because I wanted us to have a community. Now, when most of you registered, if you went through, Eventbrite and registered, a lot of people had to answer a question before they registered. And so I took the time to kind of compile some of the questions, but what I wanted to do, I wanted us to have time to answer your questions live, because you're here with us, today. And so if we can answer some of those questions now, because I want to make sure I put this disclaimer out there. I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but there's some things that I'm learning that, as far as podcasting is concerned, that you can do to really get more listeners, get more eyeballs on your podcast and things like that. And so, and I'm not really talking about ads or anything like that, because I don't do ads, right? And so, but, I figured, with Gina and I both, here, and some of you who are already here, you may have, some answers as well. And so this is really just kind of like, we're experts in our own right, but we if we don't know the answer, we can find the answer and get back to you. So I wanted to make sure that I did put that disclaimer out there. And again, like Gina said, this is also for networking and because we're all interested in podcasting. Now, a little bit of my backstory. I'm not going to bore you with the organizing piece of it because most of I've been a professional organizer and now I do everything virtually, like I just said. But I also launched a podcast years ago when it wasn't even popular, but I just didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I did it because I was told that I had the voice for it. Okay. And so I started using, it was Spreaker. And I think Gina had mentioned that she used to do something with Spreaker. So Spreaker is a platform that you can use. And what I loved about Spreaker at the time, it had a lot of bells and whistles. So I would have, audience in the back, people clapping and, all kinds, because it had a lot of bells and whistles. And so I used to love, and I still love the platform, but now it's not so much about the bells and whistles. Now it's about business now. But I've launched actually several podcasts, but once I got serious about, podcasting and had more of a vision around what I wanted my podcast to do for me, then it was less about the bells and whistles and more about my business and being on a platform and utilizing a platform where I can show up authentically, where I enjoy, because I enjoy podcasting. I do not enjoy doing Facebook Lives. And so, and most people who know me know that I do not like doing Facebook Lives. I absolutely love podcasting. So when I start, because I have a coach, and so I'm in a program for the next year until like August. And so some of the things that, we're learning in the program, I wanted to be able to help others to do, what I'm implementing. Right. And so that is really why we're here. And also to let you all know, at some point, we're probably going to launch like a membership or something like that. I still have some ideas in my head and I have some things written down. And, I've even mentioned, to Kimberly, we've talked about it a little bit, but I don't have it all lined up yet. So at some point, I do want to offer a membership where we can really take a deeper dive. Now, I do have some free training on podcasting. And so, toward the end, I'll drop a link, where if you guys want to consume that, that's fine. But it talks a little bit about, I think it's like 7 episodes. It talks a little bit about, some things that you can do to start your podcast, especially like if you are a newbie. So it's really, for newbies. So I wanted to say that just to kind of give a little bit, of background, on it. So, like I said, I went and I compiled, a list that, some of you may have already, gone through the questions and said, this is what I wanted. But there were some people were like, okay, how do I find sponsors, right? How do I find new clients? How do I find the right audience? How do I keep up with tech influencers? I'm reading the questions. Influencer insurance. I don't know. I can tell you right now, I have no idea. I don't know who we're asking, but I have no idea. Gina, do you know?
I'm not in the space of like sponsorship or anything at this point. So yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not sure. Yeah. I definitely know you can find things on Google, but I don't want to say that I know about that.
Right. And so the same here, for me, again, I don't do ads and I'm not in the space of sponsors. So I definitely couldn't answer, that question around that. And honestly, I really don't I'm not sure I even understand that. But okay, so somebody can answer that. Go ahead. Who just typed that in? Was that you, Kimberly?
I did.
Okay,
So
let's
yeah, I was
go.
just gonna say, yeah, just much like every other industry, there are a group of people, a group of independent marketing organizations. There are several that you can kind of follow, get information from. It really depends on what you're connected to. If you're a GA and MGA kind of stuff like that, but we can help navigate whomever asked that question
Okay.
to kind of see what you're connected to already and what you're wanting to do. And then there's a list of people that we can figure out.
Right. So thank you, Kimberly. So I don't know if that person is here. Like I said, I was just going, if you are here, then please, and that was your question, please make sure you connect with Kimberly in regards to that. So those were, the people that registered and signed up. There were a lot of questions, but I really want to tackle live questions that you all have because you're here and that's why you're here, right? So let's just see what questions you have and see how we can either provide some kind of resource or answer the questions, share more insight, or what have you around your question. So if you want to go ahead and raise your hand or unmute your mic or what have you, please feel free to go ahead and do so, and we'll do our best to answer your question. Susie, do you have a question? Because your mic is on. Okay, there we go. You were looking to raise your hand.
I was trying to figure out how to do it.
I know it's different from Zoom. I know.
I haven't done much on Google Meet, so pardon me. So I know that I've listened to a few of Kimberly and Catherine's wealth table, and I really like the fact that there's two of you and that you come from kind of slightly different angles from it, or you have different goals, but it all really comes together. And I'm not sure how you found each other and decided to do that, but I just think that adds a lot to it. At this point, I'm not really sure. I guess if I started a blog, what I do for content, and then how do you find, I kind of know because it's what we do all the time as far as educating, but how do you get started? How do you get people to even listen to you? And is there like a length that you should stick to, or?
Okay. So so I'll answer, and then, if Kimberly or Catherine wants to answer, Gina wants to answer, anybody else, wants to answer, that's perfectly fine. So everyone here, you already pretty much have an audience, right? If you're in business, you have an audience. I am of the mindset that you start with what you have and where you are. So if you're already doing a blog, and I'm also a repurposing queen. So if you already have a blog, for example, then you can repurpose that content into a podcast, right? And so the thing that I like to tell people, even when it comes to setting up or launching your podcast, is really not about your equipment. It's because, people get all bogged down with, okay, well, I need the right kind of mic. I need this platform, just start somewhere, and you'll figure it out along the way. It's not going to be perfect, but you got to start somewhere. And if you are one that likes to do audio like me, I love to do audio, but I also do, when I'm interviewing people, I actually do video, but I put that on YouTube so that people can go and look at it, because YouTube is, that's pretty much what that platform is for. But I also, everything else is audio. And so, but again, don't get caught up in all of the, the tech and all that kind of stuff. You can start with a microphone and a phone. I have my podcasts on 2 platforms. One is Anchor, which I'm sure because it's free, and Spotify owns Anchor, so you can actually put your video podcast on Spotify. But Anchor and Spotify allows you to, well, most platforms will allow you to do this. It allows you to distribute your podcast to other platforms like Apple and like, some of the other platforms. One thing I wanted to, I don't know if you all know, but I love Google Podcasts, but Google Podcasts are going away, and they're actually going to use YouTube is getting in the podcast space. So I don't, that's just FYI. But if you just start on Anchor with your content, with your audience, I would say that's a good place to start. So is that helpful, Susie?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So anybody else want to chime in on that?
I wanted to say, because you asked a couple questions also, like how long do you make your podcast for? And my partner and I are going to be releasing our own podcasts. We do podcast and social media management for clients, but we just felt like it's our time to release our own. So it's launching Ripple FX in February. And it's geared towards entrepreneurs, business owners. So our podcasts are 10 minutes. We know that y'all don't have a lot of time, and you need something to listen to when you're washing the dishes or getting up to motivate your day or whatnot. So I think it really depends on your audience. And so that's kind of my 2 cents, but it's really no time limit. Like I've seen podcasts an hour and a half or whatnot. So it really just depends. And then like how to get people to listen. I think something really smart to do in the beginning is think about what people are searching about in your topic. So for example, we use Google Trends, and you can type in keywords. It's free, and you can see what people are searching about within your niche or your topic, and kind of create keywords or like a whole topic around what people are asking, as well as like just going into Facebook groups or wherever your community is at and seeing what are people like really wanting to know, and this is why we started this group in the first place, is because we saw people are asking about how to leverage their podcasts. And so I think it's really important to not just always have topics to talk about, but really making sure that it's topics that your people are asking about, if that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That helpful, Susie?
to
Go ahead.
piggyback on that, Susie, I don't know what your background is, but I'm sure you have skills, talents, connections that you can bring forward. So I would also suggest that you define what your podcast is about, who your audience is, who your target audience is, and where they spend a lot of their time online. To Gina's point, look and see what they are searching for, researching. And you kind of create that container before you start podcasting. You need those boundaries. Otherwise, because Adrena, I had a podcast back in 2015. And I can't tell you the name of the platform, but I just kind of did it and had people come on. And I really didn't have much of a purpose other than I wanted to explore that medium of creativity. So know what your purpose is before you get into it, because the decision on the market, the decision on the audience, the content, and then you'll have a whole production piece. So there's just different elements to this, and I'm sure your free podcasting course probably goes into that.
Yeah.
But it's a great medium to reach people, because driving, you know, they can listen to you. I prefer podcasting over video. I can't tell you how many times Kimberly kept saying, no, we need to be on video. Like, I don't want to do makeup. I don't want to do hair. I just want to talk.
Absolutely.
So play to
Yeah.
your strengths. Yeah.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Anyone else?
Well, Susie, so what I was going to say, it's interesting because I think Gina and Aldrima met the same way as networking. So
Mhm.
Catherine and I actually met networking doing completely two different things. And we had actually stopped networking in a group we originally met in and somehow or another connected again. And originally, again, it just kind of started as, you know, getting comfortable on Facebook Live, Catherine getting comfortable on not just audio, but video and being on the camera and all these kind of things. And so it just kind of started originally as just, hey, this would be something for us to hone in our skill sets kind of thing. Then we were like, wait, we're onto something here. And so then we started talking about it. And then what we realized, so Catherine and I are both attorneys. So we're very similar in a lot of ways, but we're completely different. In the sense, like, she's a coach. So she's all about your emotions and how you feel and all these kind of things. I am extremely pragmatic. I'm very much like, look, this is the deal. This is what you need to do. And this is why. So what ended up happening is those two things merged kind of and became the personality of the Wealth Table. And it just kind of morphed into it by itself. So now 3 years in, I am far more compassionate about why people may be stuck and not doing things that make just logical sense in my brain. And why don't you just make a decision and do it? Catherine keeps telling me, well, you can't just tell people what to do. And I'm like, whatever. So it matches our personalities too. So I think what happens, and just to give you some comfort to get started, I think the real thing to it is you just get started.
Yeah.
You just start doing what feels comfortable right now. And then as you evolve and as you grow and all the things that you do, it'll just kind of naturally morph into the personality for your podcast. And now Catherine and I are aligned in a whole lot of ways. And now we just bring the two different perspectives very well.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of that thing. And the thing I will say to you, Susie, because I know you pretty well, is that, you know, you've done a lot around Toastmasters and you've done a lot around serving
Right.
some of the things in your community. You could easily start a podcast as to why that is helpful to people, what your experience has been, how it serves you in your business. And it's something that you would be able to talk about just so naturally, almost like when you're having a conversation with me.
Yeah.
And that's what your podcast is. Podcasting is really just having a conversation so everybody else can listen to your conversation. So sometimes me and Catherine, if you go watch enough of the Wealth Tables, you can tell which topic we're talking about, which one of us is most passionate about it, because we get super excited. Like, and you guys know I talk fast, but I'll get super excited and I'll be all, and she's like, I can tell you kind of like that. And then the reverse is true. She'll get into something and I'm like, yeah, you really felt that one. So allow yourself that room, I think, will be helpful. But don't feel like you have to have the answer, the end answer when you start.
Right.
Just start. And then
Right.
and I will say that because Catherine, I'm sure, would agree, 3.5 years in, because it was in August of 2021. So 3.5 years in, we just keep growing now. We just keep evolving and finding more stuff and finding more ways and more attitudes and finding what we want to be true to. And I think the key is being 100% true to you. People love authenticity.
Authenticity. Yeah.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
Yes, that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really am an attorney. I can talk for real. Sure. I'll go with that. So that's
And
my
that's
2
what-
cents worth.
And that's one of the things that people comment about me, is that they feel that I'm honest and I'm authentic. That, you know, as my husband says, if you ever want to know what's thinking or what Susie's thinking, there's never any doubt about it, because I just tell it like I see it.
Yeah.
And it may not be always sugar coated, but it's just
Right.
the way, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
mean,
I would ask this question off of Susie's questions from the two of you, your perspective, is because I think one of the things we make the mistake of is we feel like we need to try to tailor to everybody, as opposed to who we are and what we do will find the right audience. Does that make sense? Is that question right?
yeah. So, I mean, I would say to that, you start with the audience that you already have, and you listen to the questions or the concerns of that audience, and you talk their language. I mean, I think it's very similar to launching a business, you know, because I think that, you know, you're speaking to them, right? So they want to know more about whatever question they have. And like Gina was saying, that was one of the reasons why, we decided to do this, because there's a lot of people that, that's in the podcasting space. And podcasts it's booming, right? This is the time. If you're going to do it, 2024 is the time to do it, I believe. And so, but for me, I started with the audience I already had. And so I will typically use a lot of the questions that I'm asked as my title, or it will be something maybe that my client asked me. And because my client asked me, I will use that, as a podcast title. And so, and whatever answer, I gave her, or whoever it was I'm working with, because they're probably not the only person that want to know, the answer to that. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, Kimberly. Hopefully I'm somewhere around it, but I just strongly believe, I don't believe in, starting all over. I just believe in starting where you are, and the audience that you already have will give you the content that you need to speak to them. And that's how you grow your podcast.
Right.
It's less about the, technical stuff. And, now, I know that there's stuff around, SEO, the words and things like that, so you can get found and things like that. That's not my specialty, but as I'm going through this program, that's one of the things that I'll be learning. So I'm just kind of, this meeting is just to kind of help with what I am learning and implementing that's helping me to grow my podcast. And one of the things that, he, my mentor, my coach has said that, like, the blog that you have, find a way to repurpose that and insert your podcast inside of the blog.
Yeah. And if I could add, I have a perfect platform to do that. It's called Substack. substack.com. It's free. You can that's where the Well Table is hosted. And you can, I always write a blog and then put up the video, and I also capture the audio. And what you've given me is I need to go back to Anchor and do that again. I haven't been doing that piece. I've just been doing the Substack.
Yeah. And there's a ton of places, to your point, Catherine, there's a ton of ways to, repurpose your content and inserting your blog. Medium is one of them as well.
Medium,
I think
you
it's
have
a paid. I think
you have to pay. I think it's $50 a year.
Yeah.
Medium is really good, but it's more for people who want to read about other people. I would suggest Substack as your home base, but then you have to go out and bring people to it.
Yeah.
People connect on Substack. It's really growing, but you have to have your outward bound marketing pointed to it. It can almost be your web page.
Got it. Put that if you'll put that
Sure.
link in the comments so that Susie can.
If I can
all of
figure
us
out
can
where
go
it
check
is.
out. Okay, we'll let you do that.
I'll figure it out, but thank you.
Yeah. So was that helpful, Kimberly, Susie?
Yes.
Are those things? Like I said, there's a ton of tactics, that you can use in order to get more people to your podcast. Virtual events. One of the things that I am really discovering there is what is called a 7-11 rule, and you all may have heard of it, you may not have, but with the market being so crowded now, people need to engage with you at least 7 hours before they even think about working with you. And then they need 11 touch points. So think about, ways that, and you don't have to start all at once, with those, just start somewhere, but I think you already have, a good place that
Mhm.
you're starting, figure out where your
Right.
people are, talk their language, and make sure that you are in alignment in a place where you can show up authentically. I can't show up authentically on Facebook Live. I get so distracted. Like I'm looking at the comments. I can't focus.
Mhm.
But when you get me behind this microphone on audio, game on. Game on. So go ahead. Go ahead, Gina. You were going to say something.
I wanted to say something just about piggybacking off what Kimberly was saying. And the question was like, how do you balance just being your authentic self and doing what feels right and talking about what feels right versus like going out and finding your people, right? So I feel like, well, part of what I do is social media is a means to promoting a podcast. So I feel like learning how the algorithm works on LinkedIn or Instagram, wherever you're promoting your podcast, is one way to like go out and try and do a little bit more to grow your audience and your reach. But I also am a firm believer in like just being you and saying your message, and it's going to reach the right people. Like I feel like that's kind of a faith-based thing. And that's just
Mhm.
my thought process and how I approach it. But I think that there's definitely a balance with it. And then also what Adrima was saying about the SEO and like finding the keywords and learning how to sprinkle those in, whether it's in your title or your show notes or even in your social media, because that can show up on Google as well now. So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Anyone else have any questions or something that you want to add? I see that we have a new person, Gwen. I can't pronounce the first name. I'm sorry, but if you want to, come on and, say something, you don't have to turn your camera on. You can if you want to. You don't have to. Go ahead, Kimberly. While Gwen is
Yeah, so I
thinking.
was going to ask, based on what Gina just said. So with social media platforms, I went from let me just post it in one spot and think it, or whatever I'm posting, whatever it is, right? Put it in one spot and that'll be what I focus on and stuff. Then I started putting it in multiple spots, and the difference is depending on the audience in each group. And so now I'm just like throw it all up there everywhere. But I don't know that that's the right approach, but I do seem to get more responses that way, whether it's reels on Facebook or reels on Instagram and then putting it on LinkedIn. And so what do you guys suggest, or what has your experience been? Is it better to focus on just one primary one and do it consistently and faithfully to the 7-Eleven kind of conversation? Or should we be trying to use all of them?
Go ahead, Gina.
Well, you definitely don't want to overwhelm yourself. I know that posting to everywhere is like stressful. So if you can, I would say if you can automate your posts and schedule them out and you have the capacity and energy to do that, I would say get it out there on the platforms, especially like narrowing down the ones that where your people are at, like Instagram or LinkedIn or whatnot. And also just maybe noticing like what are people responding to more on Instagram, for example? What are they responding to more on LinkedIn if that's where you're posting? And like this again requires more energy and possibly outsourcing, but like optimizing your content. So something that I've personally noticed with my clients and myself is video content doesn't do as well on LinkedIn as opposed to like a photo or just like a poll or something. Whereas on Instagram or TikTok, of course, it's like video content. So that's like a situation where you might optimize your content, maybe the same topic, but like post a reel, like a video snippet of your episode on Instagram, and then you post like a picture, or you ask a question in a poll or something for your audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Naya, thank you, Naya, for putting that in there. And then Gwen, I'm just going to say your last name because I don't want to butcher your first name, but Gwen is in a noisy place, so she's listening. Thank you for coming, and I hope that this is, again, we can't answer. We don't have all of the answers, but hopefully, when you walk away from this, you will have some answers that helps to get you, to the next whatever that is, whether it's, getting started, or whether that's, monetizing a little bit better, or, thinking about what platform, you want to use. So hopefully that's what this is for. I also posted, put the link in there about the Facebook group, and for anyone that that's new to the podcasting, that link will give you tips. Well, not the link, you have to subscribe. So, but you can, it's a whole series of training in terms of podcasting, and on how to get started, some things to consider, things like that. So for some of you, that may be a refresher, and so, but as I am learning, my goal and my objective, and I know Gina would agree, is to help you get better, with what you're doing. Because here's the thing, like podcasting, it doesn't, there is like no algorithm like Facebook has, and you got to be careful of the algorithm, and they change it every week and all this other kind of foolishness. I don't have time for that. I don't even like the word algorithm. So, so I'm just saying it's just another thing to keep up with, so the most I will do is like, I post it on my page. I also send my email list, a little bit about the podcast, what I'm talking about this week. So they get, that, so that they can subscribe. I encourage people to subscribe as well. And so that's my audience. They're on my email list because they want to hear from me. And so I think if nothing else, don't overlook the power of an email list, even over the, Facebook and, all the other social media, platforms, because you own that, so that's just kind of like my rant for now. So did that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Naya, go ahead. I was just about to call on you. So go ahead and say what you wanted to say.
Hi, sorry, I didn't want to ask the question aloud because I didn't want to trigger you. I know how you feel about the A word. But Gina, if you could see my question, I would love to find you, first and foremost. And then secondly, yes, the algorithm, how do we deal with that? How do we keep up with that?
That's interesting. I'm going to let Gina, speak to that, because she does, social media. And so that's how she helps her clients, and manage their podcast. So Gina, if you want to, tackle that one, because I can't answer it.
Well, I'll definitely say it's a full-time job trying to figure it out. I definitely don't know everything either, but I follow other professionals in specific, areas, whether it's podcasts or just on social media in general, that talk more about this and who are like really knowledgeable about these topics, to get like updates about them. And then I usually just try to apply them with what I'm doing for my clients, which is social media management. Something I saw recently actually was about like LinkedIn taking away the carousel posts, which I haven't seen that they have. yet. I don't know if any of you have noticed that, but so I was, seeing that update, trying to plan ahead with my clients. So just like trying to stay up to date in different ways. I don't know how much that helps, but I also want to just tell everybody to link their information in the chat so we can all connect, because
Absolutely.
I feel like the fortune is in the follow-up. So whether you have a question or you want to do a collaboration or whatever it is, I think that reach out to whoever resonated with you during the call.
Yeah.
So I'll put my stuff in the chat.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you, Gina. I posted my first carousel on LinkedIn yesterday,
Okay.
and it's not doing very well. Not that the post on LinkedIn typically get hundreds of likes anyways, but typically they're from maybe 0 to 20. And I think I'm sitting at maybe 3 likes. So I'm not sure if the content is just poor at this, because it might be, or maybe I'm being disenfranchised by LinkedIn if they have some negative perspective of carousels all of a sudden. And I uploaded it using a PDF format. If that sounds like the traditional way, then yes, they're still there. And if not, then it sounds like they've adapted it. But I do like what you said about keeping up with industry professionals and then implementing it trial and error. Additionally, with the carousels, I know LinkedIn also does not a fan of links. Why do you think that they would also not be a fan of carousels?
That's a good question. I didn't know that LinkedIn was not a fan of links. I know Facebook is. That's why people, when they post things, they always, say link in the comments, because we all know that when you post something on Facebook and you put links, excuse me, inside of your post or whatever, some people see it, but it's less than 1% of people that will see it. But when it's your birthday or you're celebrating something, yeah. So they just, trying to keep up with that, it's just very frustrating. So, but go ahead if, to answer that question.
Was the question, why do they not like links in the posts? So on LinkedIn and on Facebook, they are trying to keep you on that platform. So you don't want to put a link in your posts, which is something that I'm learning and have experimented with. So you want to put it in the comment or just reach out to people, tell them something that's actually newer. A call to action is like DM, the word invite below, and I'll send you the link. And you can set up a free tool it's called ManyChat, I believe, and it just automatically sends the people, whoever DM that word. So yeah.
Was that helpful, Naya?
It was, thank you. But the carousels, they don't have any links.
The carousels, she said they don't have any links.
Because this is the first I'm hearing of it, so forgive me.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, I honestly, I don't know anything about it, so I can't answer that. Go ahead, Gina.
I think I would have to look at the post to kind of see what the problem is, but it could definitely be a lot of things. So I wouldn't know what to tell you unless I see it specifically.
Yeah. Do you want to put the link to the post, or maybe just connect with Gina? Whatever works for you guys.
Yeah, we'll do. And I should do my own research too. I'm just wondering why they would not like carousels any further.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe put a post out there on LinkedIn and say, have you heard that LinkedIn doesn't like carousels? Do you know anything about that?
Right on.
A lot of times that generates a lot of, interest because somebody else may be wondering the same thing, Go ahead, Catherine.
I have a housekeeping question.
Mhm.
How do I save the chat? I know how to do it in Zoom, but I don't know how to do it in Google Meets.
You know, that's a good question. I get it automatically. I don't know. Let me look and see if
I'm trying to
there's
find it, and I
any
just thought
settings.
someone who's more familiar with this platform may know.
Well, I'm somewhat familiar. I've been using
there's
it, but
There's some great links in here that I want to save. I guess I could just copy and
Yeah.
paste.
well, yeah, you can, and I can email that to you. You know, so don't worry about that. If you know
Yes.
that's
Yep.
yeah. So definitely we'll do that.
And I wanted to say to Naya, do you know about Linktree? Do you know what that is? Naya?
Such as the like a business, like the digital business cards.
Basically, but you can put links to whatever it is you're promoting and then just say, link in the bio in your
Right.
as part of your post. So yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
that works really well on Instagram.
Yeah, it definitely works on Instagram. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. What other questions do you guys have? Anything? Has this been helpful?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
In
Good.
case you couldn't hear me shaking my head.
Because again, this is, we'll be doing it monthly. And like I said, I did put the link to the Facebook group. So if I know some of you may not even be, on Facebook, but that was just the easiest platform, to get people, in the group. But if you have questions that you think of later, you can post it in the Facebook group. And, we'll either research it, try to find it, or what have you, or we may drop a video in there, answering the question, so definitely, you want to utilize that. That's where it's going to be, most helpful, for all of us, involved, where we can stay connected and, definitely ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, like with Naya, saying, well, what's the deal, on carousels, somebody now the group is not that large. It's just, it's rather new, but it's definitely growing. This event is going to be monthly. It is monthly, so we will have it on the same Tuesday every month, which is this like the third Tuesday of the month? So it's the same Tuesday, every month. If you're in the group, you don't have to re-register, or you can just save the Google Meet link so that you can come next month. So yeah, but that is, the goal, is to, help others to leverage podcasting, things like that. Also, so like, and I think I'm sure I already said it in some version or another, but as I am learning, I will be teaching, some of the strategies, because my coach, the mastermind group that I'm in is a year long. So we're learning. We meet like three Wednesdays out of the month. And so we're learning strategies that he has taught his clients how to build like $1 million podcasts, right? Where they get clients from their podcast. So that's the thing that I really want us to learn more about. And so, because it really, again, podcasting, it's big, it's huge. And there's a reason that a lot of people are using it. Right. So, and there's because people are actually getting clients directly from the podcast. And I don't know about you, but that's what I want. So So that's why we're here. So, come every month, if you have questions or whatever. Yeah. Come every month, ask questions, join the Facebook group, connect with each other. That's what this is for. And yeah. So, but if you got any other questions, I think we are at the top of the hour. Any questions or comments?
No, thank you.
Thank you,
Everybody's
ladies.
good?
It's great.
Okay. All right. I'll send
you.
out, I did record this. So if you're on the email list, I'll send a link to the recording. And so that, maybe you missed something or, something like that. I'll send a link to the recording. I do have a link to last month's recording. I forgot to send that out. But, so yeah, so we'll definitely, do that. And this will be repurposed into a podcast. I'm just saying. Because that's what I do.
That's smart.
Yeah. This is content. We're always creating content, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so when I first joined Toastmasters, one of the people that had been in it for a while told me, he says, you really only have to create like maybe 10 speeches maximum. And then after that, you can just start, pulling
Mhm.
pieces out of that content and making something different out of it. And I found that to be true, because when you only have like 5 to 7 minutes for a speech, there's only so much you can cover. So you can make another speech about some part of that. But I thought that was
Yeah.
interesting. It's
Yeah.
repurposed.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Are there any tools that, before we go, are there any tools that anybody feels like they, want to know a little bit more about to save them time or, anything like that? Is everybody using Chat GPT?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
If you haven't heard of Chat GPT, you might want to get on the bandwagon because it is probably the most familiar. Okay, Naya, go ahead. But it's if you haven't heard of it, you do need to go ahead and sign up for it. It's free.
Yes, and the paid version, ChatGPT 4, the new one launched in November, allows you now, as launched in January, to create your own language models off of the ChatGPT platform unique to your business. And then you can also monetize it. And with the rolling out this quarter,
Yeah.
called a GPT store. So for me personally, I'm making a GPT where people can automate their finances similar to a mobile app, but
Cool.
also there's AI automation for, let's say, like credit disputes. Instead of faxing it in, there's all these APIs and configurations you can add. So if you can figure out a way to not only use AI, but or ChatGPT, but also create something that your audience can use, you can also monetize it.
Awesome. That is really cool. Yeah, I've been using Chat GPT. Some people have, all kind of views around it. I feel like if you just use it to help you, if you think of it like as a thought partner, then rather than, asking it, whatever prompt and letting it create whatever for you. And that's not the best way to use it. The best way to use it is as a thought partner. Like, okay, can you give me this framework, for, whatever it is you're wanting to do. And when you use it that way, it kind of helps you to just, stay authentic and not look like Chat GPT created it. Go ahead, Catherine.
Right. I just wanted to warn people. ChatGPT uses what's already out there and can reconfigure it for you, but you're the creative force behind it and you're the personality behind it. So I've been following one particular person. He's on Substack. It's called Writing with AI, and his name is Nicholas Cole. And if you join that Substack, I'll get the link in just a second. He gives you prompts, and his whole thing is training ChatGPT to be your virtual intern. And the way you do that is to be super specific, give all these details in your prompts, and it will organize, it will provide the structure for you. And then you have to go back and kind of change the language to make it sound like yourself. But I did that last weekend and created an ebook. And I had to spend some time kind of massaging it, but it gave me such a great place to start and to launch that particular project that I'm now selling at a very minimal price. But it would have taken me weeks to get to that point, and instead it's so much faster.
Yeah.
It's like having a brainstorming partner.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's
so much
great.
fun.
And
yeah.
to Naya's point, I want to know more about this store. I did not know that. So I'm
I
gonna
know, right?
look into that.
Yeah. Did everyone put their information? I mean, I see, some of it. I don't have my glasses on, so I should probably put my glasses on so I can read it, but everyone has their information in there. Of course, you know how to reach me. If you come to the Facebook group, that's where I am. And if you have a podcast already and you want to put the link to your podcast and you want to subscribe, to each other's podcast or whatever, make sure you do that. That's how you build, your subscriber base. So go ahead and do that, and then we'll keep it moving. All right.
I'm going to have to go, Aldrina. Thank
No
you. though.
problem. Not a problem. I just wanted, everybody to, have whatever time they need. So thank you so much.
And the link I just dropped is the one I was talking about, where he's gone super deep into using ChatGPT for any project. He calls it writing with AI. But if you want ideas for podcasts, you can use these same techniques and these same prompts.
Gotcha. All
So
right.
thank you. Nice to meet
Thank you,
everybody.
Catherine. Yes, thank you
Likewise,
so
Catherine.
much. All right, everybody. Everybody's good?
Yes.
All right. Well, everybody have an amazing day. Thank you for coming. We'll see you guys in cyberspace.
See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.